Right now, I am adjusting the camera one last time because the preview before you go live on mobile is just grayed out and really bad. You can't see any details, and it takes a second to tweak the phones and the angles. I am ready. Let's do this. Hey, Jay, welcome back. All right, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice a little bit of consistency, the number one quality, to make it a little bit more fun, to make it not just sitting on the floor going, for your stretches. We try to bring some good energy to the internet. Try to do this consistently at the same time so you can make it a part of your day. And hopefully, we can make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits towards better mobility together. Oh man, I'm feeling stiff. Okay, let's get into our warm up. The first thing we're gonna do is called the hip cars. Hip cars are called controlled articulated rotations, CAR. And what we care about is moving your legs through a big range of motion using your own muscle power and trying to open up that range of motion further, again with muscle power. So we're going to start by lifting this knee as high as you can go. Lift, 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 lift. Then we're going to open up that leg to the side. Try to keep your hip in mostly the same place. If you can keep it from moving, great, do that. If you can't and it moves a little bit, it's okay. From here, once you've opened up the hip, I want you to rotate the leg so that the ankle comes up to the same height as the knee. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. We went from high knee to opened up the hips. Now we're going to rotate that ankle up. And I want you to keep rotating. Rotate, 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 rotate. Bring that ankle as high as you can. From the side, it looks kind of like this. And from there, bring the leg down and back. Now, we're sticking the leg directly behind us, all right? So, down and back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, feel the stretch in the front of the hip, and that is our entire hip car. We're gonna do 10 reps of that on the left side, 10 on the right side. I am adjusting a little bit of a weight because I got a fan blowing. I realized over the course of the last couple of days that my phone is overheating when I have the screen brightness turned up, potentially messing with the Wi-Fi, messing with the data, and that causes some of the lagging. And now I have a fan blowing against both phones, but now it causes a little bit of wobble if I get the angle not quite right. And I just adjusted something to hopefully fix that problem. All right, let's continue. Hip cars, 10 reps. Let's go. Keep that core nice and tight, and let's go. High knee. Open, ankle up some more, down and back, high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 2 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 3 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 4 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 5 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 6 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 7 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 8 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 9 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, and that is 10. Hip cars. First leg done. One more. Let's go. If your legs are feeling a little bit tired, feel free to shake them out as we go. Core tight. Let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 1 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 2 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 3 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 5 high knee. Open. Ankle up, down and back, that's 6, that's high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 7 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 8 high knee, open, ankle up, down and back, that's 9, last one, high knee, open, ankle up, down and back. those are hip cars going forward. Now, we're going to start doing hip cars going backwards. Let me turn on some lights to see if we can even out some of the lighting a little bit more. Still crazy looking, but that's okay. Oh, time to go in reverse. When we go in reverse, I want you to focus on keeping the core tight. That's because when we go in reverse, the first move, instead of ending with the leg back, we start with bringing the leg back. And I want you to be careful because when we start with that, we tend to get a little aggressive, tend to work really hard going, oh, one! And when we do that, one, tends to be the case where we start putting a whole bunch of pressure in the low back to keep us in the leg back position. It's fine if you do that once in a while. No big deal. Moving your back is good for it in general. But it can cause your back to be a little achy, a little bit tender, because you're putting a lot of pressure on it and trying to get to end range of motion. What I recommend instead is to keep that core nice and tight, like you're bracing for some punches. And from here, when you bring that leg down and back while keeping your core tight, you'll feel more of the stretch here in the hip flexor where you're supposed to instead of in your low back. Go. Let's go. Core tight. Bracing for some punches. Keep that core strong and let's go. Back. We're going to lift to the side, directly to the side. Then we're going to rotate the ankle up. We're going to rotate the ankle down. Bring the knee forward. All right? That's one. But we're not going to count it. Let's go. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's one. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. That's two. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Three. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Four. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Five. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Six. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Seven. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Eight. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Nine. Last one. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. 10. Oh, that's a whole bunch more 10 hip cars. Let's finish up, wrap up the last one. 10 more hip cars. Final leg. Breathe, relax. Let's go. The whole time I've been saying keep your core tight, but you should also be breathing. It's not so tight that I can't breathe. Take breaths. Keep the core relatively tight, and let's go. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's one, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's two, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, three, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, four, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, five, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, six, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, seven, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, eight, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, nine, back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Oh, those are our 10 hip cars. Going forward, going back. We are done with hip cars. Hopefully, your hips are feeling a little bit looser. You're moving a little bit better. You can test it right now and see if it is a little bit more comfortable. And we're going to move on into our second warm-up exercise, the elephant walk. But if you're just joining in, you've never been on live before, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching, hip mobility, and we do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, which was, 15 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make it a little bit more fun, to stretch on the floor and suffer every single day. Oh, so if that sounds like fun, make sure to hit follow, make sure to hit subscribe, and we'll keep being here stretching together. Cool? All right. Second warm-up exercise is the elephant walk. What we are doing is folding forward, getting into this L shape, taking a second to breathe and chill. Let your low back relax a little bit. And keep breathing. Keep chilling. Ooh. Try to fold forward. Get deeper into this L shape. If you're not quite into an L shape and you're more of a, I don't know, more open triangle, that's okay. That's part of the process. From here, once you start feeling the tension coming from your hamstrings and no longer in the low back, because your low back is now relaxed, I want you to start bending one knee and straightening out the other leg, bringing the belly button down into the ground. All right? We're going to switch sides. So the other knee is bent. The leg that was bent is now straight. And your belly button is still trying to get as low to the ground as possible. Your first couple reps might feel kind of intense. You might feel like you can't move very fast or very well, and that is a-okay. That is the point of the elephant walk, is to help you loosen up those hamstrings with a little bit of movement and show you the power of warm-up. Keep going. Switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. Breathe, and switch, and switch, and switch, and breathe. As you get more comfortable with the movement, see if you can fold your belly button down a little bit further. A lot of this is actually core compression strength, and that is not something we actively train in the rest of the live. But I do want you to think about it as if you're trying to pull your core in, almost flexing your hip flexors up here to pull everything down into the ground. And also, of course, let gravity do its job and pull you down. When you feel like you're moving pretty smooth, the tempo has picked up, your angle of, I don't know, folding is feeling pretty crazy right now, we're pretty much almost done. Keep on trying to bring that belly button down. One more time. Compress, 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 compress. Keep shaking that butt. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Bend the knee, straighten, bend the knee, straighten, bend the knee, straighten, and 3, 2, 1, 0. Pop into a squat. Come on back up, and that is our elephant walks. Hopefully, you've noticed that your legs are moving a lot better now that you've done a couple seconds of elephant walk, and we're ready to move on. Let's get into some thoracic rotation. Thoracic rotation is really just getting the middle half of your back to rotate. Give your back a little bit of movement. And the way we're going to do it, and the reason why it's set up right after the elephant walk, is because we're using the elephant walk as the base. We're going to take our legs, we're going to bend one knee, we're going to open up, or we're going to straighten out one leg to the side. We're going to take one arm, we're going to reach across from the bent leg side to the other side. We're going to push against that shin, and we're going to open and reach and reach and reach up and behind us, and feel that rotation in the spine. Your hands are reaching up behind you, your eyes, your neck is rotated to look at the hands, and I want you to breathe. Come back down. That is half a rep. We're going to do 5 of these in total. Let's continue. Other leg is now bent. Hand from the bent leg side reaches across the body. Push against the outside of that leg, fold forward, and open. Open, 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 open. Open, 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 open. Open, 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 open. And come on back down. That is 1 rep. We got 4 more to go. Let's go. Bent leg, reach across, open. Once you've reached as far as you feel like you can reach, I want you to just take a small inhale and exhale, and see if you can reach a little bit further. Inhale, exhale, and reach. Keep going. Other side. Inhale, exhale, reach. Inhale, exhale, reach. And that is 2. 3 more. Open. 3. 2 more. That's 4. 1 more round. Let's do it. 5. Oh, that is some thoracic rotation. Hopefully, your spine is feeling a little bit looser. Your shoulders, your shoulder blades might be feeling a little bit tired from trying to reach behind you, and that's normal. Luckily, we don't do very much more of that. We're going to move right on into our third warm-up exercise, the Cossack switch. You don't have to jump in right just this moment. I'm going to demonstrate real quick, and then we'll do some prep together, all right? We're going to open up our legs for the Cossack switch. We're going to drop down to one side, and I want you to try your best to compress and squish as deep as you can into one leg, while this other leg is just chilling off to the side. Both heels are down, and the meat of this is bring your hips across to the other side, chilling here for a second, compressing, getting squished, and then coming back. That is one rep. For most of us, it's going to be really hard getting into that position. You're not going to have enough ankle mobility, enough hip mobility, so let's prepare by stretching. Pre-stretch the stretch. I want you to tuck your knees to your chest, and I want you to pull it in, pull hard. I want you to feel that almost pinching sensation here at the hips while you squish deep. I want you to lean a little bit forward so that your heels are coming off the ground. You're feeling the Achilles tendon stretch, and you're feeling the calf stretch, because this is the position that we're going to be in when we first start that Cossack switch. Except, one main leg is doing the stability thing instead of both our feet are down. Anyways, pull your knees to your chest. Breathe. Chill. When you're feeling pretty comfortable here in this position, do a little tiny wiggle. Just get used to having those joints move around, because when we start moving from side to side, there will be quite a bit of movement, so you can prepare yourself now. Whew. All right. I think it's time. Let's do our Cossack switches. So from this knee tucked position, I want you to put your hands down on the ground. When you're here, you can lean into the hands for a little bit of balance, extend one leg out to the side, and I want you to focus on getting this heel down. All right? The reason why this heel is important is because having your whole foot down on the ground gives you the ability to be a little bit more stable. That stability is important because we're trying to scoot our butts from side to side, and that takes a lot of balance and a lot of strength. So the more stable you are, the easier it will be to do it. Cool? From here, try to get into whatever position necessary for you to keep that heel down. For some of us, you might be able to squish super deep. For some of us, you have to hang out pretty high, and that's totally fine. It's part of the process. I want you to scoot your butt over to the other side. It might be a little bit easier if you're already higher up, but if you're lower down and you're struggling a little bit trying to get your hips over because your hips aren't quite used to that range of motion, or your knees aren't used to that range of motion, you can put your hands down to give yourself a little bit of support. If you are higher up and you need a little bit of support, feel free to grab a chair, use your hands to help bring your butt over. Cool? I think that's plenty of information. Let's go. We're going to do 10 reps of these. Plant that heel down, get stable, put your hands down if you need to, walk your hips over and back. That's 1 rep. Keep on going, bring your hips over, pause for a second, try to squish real deep into the stretch here, come back across to the other side and squish some more. That's 2 reps. Keep on going. If you don't need to use your hands because your stability and balance is good, go ahead, don't use your hands. Keep on folding really far forward so that your balance doesn't change that much. That's 3, I think. Keep going. Pause on each side. 4. If you're feeling like you need more of a challenge, you can try to sit up a little bit straighter. You can extend your arms in front of you and continue. Here's 5, I think. Keep on going. 6. Keep on going. 7. If your inner knees are getting a little bit achy from this transition point between here, you can dial back the intensity there by doing something that looks like this. Come up a little bit first, come across, then sink down into the stretch. Then come up, come across, then sink down into the stretch. That's 8. Come across, down. This makes it so your knee goes up and down a little bit more rather than bowing in to get across and that might make it a little bit more comfortable. You should definitely do the versions where you're keeping your hips low, but if they're causing your knees to ache a little bit, stop doing as many and do a little bit more of the up and downs. And over time, you should be able to build up some more tolerance, build up some more capability, and keep going. Okay. Whew, that, I'm pretty sure, is 10 Cossack switches. I am going to come over to the chat real quick and see what things are happening. Kenny says, that's absurd. Cossack switches are hard. They're definitely not easy. Doing 10 reps is also really hard. That's why in the beginning we talked about putting our hands down, using supports, even grabbing a chair to elevate your hands if you need it. And yeah, they take a lot of training, they take a lot of practice, but your hips moving good is really useful. So don't sleep on them. Just Fine says, first time here. I'm loving it. Lovely. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining in, we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency. It's at the same time every day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I guess the weekend is basically now. So we also do a bonus live at 9 a.m. and at 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday mornings. So in a couple hours there'll be another live. If you want to come and join in for that, start your day with some stretching, end the day with some stretching, we do that too. Follow, subscribe, come back, practice consistency. We try to make it fun, we try to make it engaging, so that it's easier for you to sit and struggle on the floor and cry a little bit. Cool? Alright, we just finished our warm-ups, the Cossack switches. Now we're going to get into our 5 stretches. The first stretch is a hamstring stretch, and I usually recommend that we set up by dropping down onto a knee, extending a leg in front, and folding forward like so. So what I want you to do is grab something to pad the knee. Could be a yoga mat, could be a yoga mat you fold up a couple times, could be a yoga block, just something to cushion the knee a little bit. Flip-flops, couch pillows, decorative pillows, dog bed, whatever you want to steal from whoever might need some soft cushioning. Your knees need it more. Let's go. Grab a sip of water if you have not been hydrating so far. I'm gonna have some coffee. And let's go. We are going to try our best to drop down onto one knee. If you have a big enough cushion, feel free to drop down on 2 knees. And I want you to notice how your hips are aligned when both your knees are down together. I want you to keep this sort of alignment consistent throughout the stretch. It is oftentimes the case that when you extend one leg out, you get a little ambitious, start pushing one leg out way far past the other, and now your right hip is way in front and your left hip is way in back. What we want is to keep those hips squared off in line right in front of each other so we can focus on the hamstring stretch. Okay? So, from the side, it looks a little bit like this. Knees straight down, folding forward. If you have a little bit of a cushion, that will definitely help. I'm starting to feel a little bit in my knee. Having a little bit of regret not grabbing a cushion, but it's okay, I'll survive. All right, from here, we're bringing our belly button down to the leg. We're just trying to chill, relax, chill, relax. You're gonna feel a whole bunch of tension in your hamstrings. You might feel it a little bit in your glutes or just underneath your glutes where your hamstrings actually attached to your pelvis. You might feel some tingliness in your calves. You might feel some tingliness in your toes. That is often called nerve flossing and nerve stretching. That's all cool, lots of facts. I'm just trying to distract you from the fact that you gotta breathe and take some normal breaths, give your body some time to chill out. Once you have started folding forward, you've taken some normal breaths, things are feeling okay, we're gonna make the intensity a little bit higher. We're gonna do an inhale, big breath in. We're gonna slowly exhale a bunch of that air, and then we're gonna fold at the same time that we're exhaling. All right? So let's do it. Inhale, exhale and fold. Bring that belly button down, down, down. And now your hamstrings are in a much, much more intense situation. They're crying a little bit, and I want you to try your best to breathe. See if you can relax. Breathe. Sigh. grunt, groan, make whatever sound effects you need to. I don't care. I can't hear you anyway. From here, massage your leg, distract your muscles. What we want is to have the muscles relax as much as possible. Try to train the brain to feel like this is comfortable, this is not crazy. And yeah, that's it. Let's go. One more inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Okay, once you're feeling like you're in a crazy position, and this is ridiculous, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. We're holding the stretch for 30 seconds if that wasn't clear by now. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Keep on breathing. Don't hold your breath. That is not going to help you. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that stretch. Squirm, wiggle, do whatever you need to do as you switch your legs and get ready for the next one. Okay. Actually, I need a second. Okay, let's go. I breathe very loud to emphasize the breath. I don't know if you can hear it, but I imagine you must be able to. The microphone is right here. You don't have to breathe as deep, as hard, or as intensely as I do. That is just my way of reminding you guys without saying breathe to breathe. And if you're feeling lightheaded because you're taking huge, intense breaths and a lot of them, dial back. Calm, relaxed, chill. Cool? All right. Other leg. Let's go. Drop that knee. Extend one leg in front. Fold the belly button down. Fold, 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 fold. Breathe. Try to relax. You're going to feel your hamstrings. You're going to feel your sort of the glute-ish area where the hamstrings actually attach to your pelvis. Oof. And I want you to try to relax. Relax through the discomfort. Relax through the intensity of that stretching. And we're going to do the inhale, exhale, fold. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Now that your hamstrings are crying, stab them with your fingers, massage them, I mean. I don't know why I sometimes break into like song, just saying words that I would otherwise say, but I do that. And whew, keep on breathing. Keep on trying to relax those muscles. We're gonna do one more inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Use that core, use those hip flexors, push your chest down to the leg. I said chest, but I really meant your hips. If you are folding really hard, you're trying to smash your knee into your face or something like that, and you're feeling a lot of pressure in your upper back or in your neck, you don't have to do that. All the folding that we care about comes from the hips. It is not coming from whether or not you can bend your neck forward. You already do plenty of that slouching, I'm sure, so you don't have to work on it extra hard. All right, let's go. I think we did the inhale, exhale the second time already, so let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, keep breathing, don't hold your breath, 15, 14, 13, 12. If you want to add in one more inhale, exhale, fold, go ahead. You are the person in charge. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, all right, come on out of that stretch. Ooh. All right. Ooh. That is our first stretch, our hamstring stretch. We spend a lot of time preparing, getting deeper into the hamstring stretch because we need the hamstrings to be relaxed and ready to perform for a different stretch that's coming up. The other stretches that we do might not be nearly as intense as our hamstring stretch just now, and so don't worry about it. We're going to move on to stretch number 2, the butterfly stretch. I recommend you do this against a wall so that you have something to put your back against. And that is because when we are doing the butterfly stretch, which looks like this, we're bringing our feet together while sitting on our bums and pulling our legs all the way in. When you're in this position, it tends to be the case that you have a little bit of struggle trying to stay balanced. If you pull your legs too far in, you gotta like grab your feet and pull your body down, and you're trying to force yourself forward. And if you relax a little bit, you'll start rolling backwards. We don't want you to roll backwards because that's gonna take away from the stretch. So stick your back against the wall, keep yourself from falling backwards. Next up, we are stretching the groin. All right. The way to do that in this position is to bring your knees down into the ground. I want you to always get stronger and get more flexible at the same time. So I want you to use your outer thigh muscles and your glutes to help open up your legs. The signal that it's working is when your knees start going down into the ground. Boom. If your legs are not moving, but you're feeling a deep stretch here in the inner thighs and towards your groin, around the groin area, it's probably a good sign that it's also working and you're just not strong enough to make your legs go down into the ground. That's okay. From here, we're in position to add a little bit more external pressure. I want you to take your hands and I want you to push your legs into the ground. Whew. When you do this, you're going to feel some pressure in your shoulders, maybe in the back of your head, because you're also pushing your back into the wall, but the wall is not going anywhere, so you're just applying a lot of pressure onto your back. That is okay, because that means we can put more effort and more power into our legs and have a little discomfort. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. Continue breathing. Nice and gentle. 24. 23. 22. 21. If you've been contracting your leg muscles the whole time, you can go ahead and try to relax them for a second. And while you relax, see if you can push your legs down just a little bit deeper. 18. 17. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Last 8 seconds. Contract those muscles again. Push your knees down. Push your knees down with your leg muscles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let the legs go. If your wrists are tired from pushing so hard into your legs, that's normal. Flop them around, give them a chance to relax. And then try your best to move your legs with your own muscles. I want you to flap the wings of this butterfly in this butterfly stretch. And if your legs are not moving too well, they're a little stiff, they're a little stuck right now, you can take your arms, give them a quick shake, wake them up real quick, and hopefully they'll wake up and you can start flapping the wings of the butterfly again. Cool? Once you're done with that, we're ready to move on into stretch number 3, the pancake. We're going to do the standing pancake for the most part because it makes you stronger while you get more flexible. Gravity makes you work a little bit harder and you get a more intense stretch. But if you're feeling really sore because it's one of your first couple of days or you just did another workout and your muscles are tired, you can do it seated. And I'll talk about that in a second. The goal of the pancake is to fold forward while our legs are apart. All right. So if you want to aim for something, aim for a number, you can aim for 90 degrees, opening up those legs, and you can focus on folding forward. If this looks like how we started pretty much every other thing that we were folding forward for, like the elephant walk, that's about right. We're folding forward. We're going to start by getting to 90 degrees. From here, the goal is to bring your upper body down in between your legs. You want to go boop, 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 and wow, that was intense. You want to fold down. For a lot of us, it's going to be really hard. And we want to use gravity as much as possible to help bring us down into the ground. So, what is the position in which gravity is doing the most work for you? It is when your back, your upper back, your whole upper body is as close to horizontal as possible. That's when you'll feel the most pull downwards here at the hip. And that's good because we want gravity to be working for us, right? If you extend your arms out, you make the lever longer, you're going to feel more intense of a stretch. If you grab a water bottle and extend your arms out, you're going to feel an even more crazy stretch. But your shoulders are probably going to get tired first, and you're going to give up long before the low back does. So, balance. Figure out what you're working on. From here, if you realize you are folding really far forward and gravity is not helping nearly as much anymore, or you're feeling like you're going to fall forward, you can stick your butt back behind you to help counterbalance your weight. And when you do that, you can get your chest, your upper body back to something close to horizontal, and you'll still feel the intensity of that stretch. If you're doing the seated version, instead of standing and leaning forward like crazy, you'll be ever so slightly resting your butt on something and folding forward. You can do a version of this just by going up to a wall and having your butt rest against the wall, or you can find a position that's relatively comfortable for you to fold into and stay close to horizontal, and just find something where your butt is at and rest your butt on that. Cool? All right, that's it. Let's go. Let's get into some pancake. I don't know what to do from here. Should I go at an angle? We're at an angle. From here, legs are open. We're folding at the hips. Fold, 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 fold. And you might want to see if you can get a little bit deeper into the side split looking position. That's fine too. From here, focus on bringing the belly button down, 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 down. Breathe. Relax. Add a little bit more leverage by extending your arms past your head. And keep on breathing. Fold, 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 fold. If things are feeling intense, great. 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our pancake stretch. You can slowly bring your toes and your heels together so that you can stand again. Oh, you can stand up straight whenever is possible. You can grunt, make as many noises as you'd like. That was 30 seconds of standing pancake. While we recover from that and you shake out your legs and try to move around, let's talk about what we were doing. In the standing pancake, one of the places where you're going to feel a stretch is here in the inner thighs. The wider you open your legs, the more stretched out your inner thighs are going to be. And because we're doing a standing pancake and you have to hold this position that you are in, you're actually also contracting your inner thigh muscles to keep yourself in position. So they're both stretched and contracted all at the same time. And guess what? That sucks. It's going to feel really bad. And that is probably why your inner thigh muscles are crying a little bit. Cool? The other place you're going to feel it is in your hamstrings. This is the reason why we spent so much time preparing the hamstrings, preparing that forward fold, breathing, folding, and doing all that stuff for the first stretch, so that when you get to this stretch, you can focus your attention on the inner thighs and be more comfortable with the forward fold and the hamstrings. All right, now that we've talked about why you suffered so much in the pancake, let's get into the fourth stretch, the figure four and or the pigeon stretch. We got two options. They basically stretch the same muscles and they basically look like this. You bring your ankle up to your belly button, you bring your belly button down to your ankle, and from the side it looks a little bit like this. We're folding and we want to feel the stretch here in the side of the glute, in the side of the hip. You got two options. Figure four, where you're laying on your back. You got the other option, the pigeon, where you're bringing your chest down and gravity is helping you out. Depending on your hip mobility, depending on what feels more comfortable, you can choose either or. I'm pretty sure we did the figure four yesterday, so I'm going to do the pigeon today. Let's go. We are getting our butts to the ground. And like I said, we're bringing the leg to the belly button to the leg, right? We want to keep this leg across our body from the knee to the ankle. And we want to lean into it a little bit, fold the belly button down and down and down and down and down and down and down. And that's our stretch. Boom, that's the basics. If you want, you can try to aim your mid-chest right here between your pecs down to the midpoint between your knee and your ankle. And that's basically the whole stretch. From the side here, I want you to focus on what's going on here at the hip. And you might notice that this leg right here in the back is bent. That's totally fine for our purposes. This is totally fine if you're a beginner and you can't get your leg further back. You can start and hang out right here. If you want to take this to the next level and you need a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, you can try to stick this leg back behind you. When you do that, there's going to be a stretch here in the front of your leg. And there's going to be some contraction in the low back and in the glutes. What I want you to focus on, if you can't comfortably get into this position, is trying to fold really far forward. When you're forward like this, your body's basically in a straight line. You're not stretching your hips nearly as much, and it might be easier to get into that position. Cool? If that is not enough, you can't fold forward enough, and you can't get your leg back enough, and you're still stuck, you can try to elevate that front leg. I don't have yoga blocks. They're in the other room. So I'm going to demonstrate with some imaginary blocks. Imaginary block 1, imaginary block 2, placing the leg on top of the blocks. When you have your legs on top of something tall, your hips are going to get stuck higher up. When your legs are stuck higher up, that means you got space. You got space to stick the leg back. Cool? I hope that made sense in my weird imaginary block position. I hope that was helpful. Let's go. We are bringing that leg across the body, and we are folding so that we are facing into the leg. Bring the chest down. Feel the stretch in the outside of the hip, and breathe. Fold. Breathe. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. 25. 24. Keep on breathing. Don't hold your breath. 23. 22. 21. Try to relax. Feel the muscles in your low back relaxing. Feel it on the outside of the glutes relaxing. Feel it in, I don't even know where else, your hamstrings relaxing. There's lots of different muscles that are pulled real tight right now. And keep breathing. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, I demonstrated some imaginary blocks to elevate your legs earlier, but you don't have to use imaginary blocks. You can have your leg lifted onto the edge of a couch, onto the edge of a chair. Just make sure that those things are stable. They're not going to slip from underneath you as you wiggle and squirm yourself into a good position. And you should be good to go. All right, let's continue. We are folding forward on the other side. Bring the chest down. Again, the ankle is across the body. We're trying to get the midpoint of our chest to the midpoint between the knee and the ankle. Go down, go down, go down. Breathe. Relax. Hope you're in position, because 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. We're feeling the stretch here in the side of the glute, in the side of the hips. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. You just found a fruit fly. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep breathing. Relax the hip muscles. Relax low back muscles. Relax the glute muscles. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on up out of that stretch. That is our 4th stretch, and that means we are ready for our 5th stretch. The 5th stretch is the side splits. I'm going to come back to the camera real quick, scroll real fast to see if there's anything in the chat that I have not paid attention to because I've been way over there, really far away from the camera. Let's see. Scrolling. I saw that earlier. That's absurd, says Kenny. And I'm not seeing a bunch of comments just yet. Oh. Leaf says, I can't do the Asian squat. Any way to train for that? Absolutely. You got more passive ways of training for it, and you got more aggressive ways of training for it. And I'll show you that at the end. Ganowski says, here, welcome. V Wright sends some biceps. And Josh says, hi, I'm late. You're never too late. You got plenty of time. We do this every single day, so don't worry about it. Teresa says, it looks easy, but hard. That is true. We want to make a lot of harder things really easy. And that is the point of life, to keep on training so that hard things feel a little easier. Cool? All right. It's time for side splits. This is the 5th and final stretch. And this is what we've been preparing for. This whole entire live so far, we've been doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and on the weekends, 9 a.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday. And we do this every day to build consistency, the number one most important quality. You can have the best plan, but if you can't follow through on it, it's not really the best plan. And we do this every day at the same time to help you schedule it in, make it a part of your day, stay consistent. So, stick around, stretch, hang out. I try to bring good vibes to the internet, and hopefully that helps us make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits towards better movement, and make a bunch of other content that's not stretching related, integrating a little tiny bit of fitness into your moments of peace, where you're waiting for the microwave to do its job, waiting for the kettle to boil for coffee or tea. And I do some quick tutorials now about basic calisthenics moves. So if you're interested in doing some frog stand, go ahead and check that out on YouTube. Anyways, start going on a tangent. Let's get into the side splits. Before we actually do side splits, I want you to stand 8 to 12 inches in front of a wall. And that's because when you are in the side splits, especially if you're new to this, at some point you're getting into a situation where you're stuck in this position, you're like trying to get deeper into the stretch, and you're going to lose balance and you're going to fall backwards, boom, on your butt. If you are less flexible and you're higher off the ground, it's going to hurt a lot more than what I just demonstrated. We don't want you to fall and hurt your tailbone, so if you stay pretty close to a wall, the wall will catch you before you fall all the way to the ground. Cool? If you are already pretty deep into a stretch, and you'll find out in a couple of seconds if you haven't figured it out yet, then you don't need it as bad, because the fall isn't going to be that much worse than if you just bumped yourself into the wall. Cool? Let's go. All right. Ooh. 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. Let's go. Siren's going crazy. Yeah. I'm next to a really big road that connects onto a highway. And I assume there must be a hospital nearby, because the sirens, when they pass by trying to hop on the highway to get to wherever they gotta go, is loud. For sure. Okay, let's go. Side splits. We're opening up the legs wide as you comfortably can. If you are feeling a pinching sensation in your hips right now and it's feeling uncomfortable, you can stop. You can bring your legs in just a little bit. Cool? From here, we are folding, and trying to get into this L shape that we got into for the pancake, for the elephant walk. And when you're here, we want to try our best to put our hands down on the ground to give ourselves a little bit of support. When you are folded forward like this, you should be able to open up your legs a little bit wider without the pinching sensation. That does not mean your legs will magically get more flexible. It just means that your hips won't pinch when you're folded forward. So it might be possible, might not be possible. If you can, open up your legs a little bit wider and Get your hands down to the ground. If you need a little bit of support, you can get some yoga blocks. You can get a stool. You can even get a chair to help you in this position. And we're ready to do the most important part. What we're going to do next is called external rotation of the leg. And this is what it looks like. So far, our feet are flat on the ground like so. What I want you to do is rotate the whole leg backwards so that, boom, your heel is down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up into the air. When you do this, you rotate your thigh bone so some of the weird stuff coming out your thigh bone doesn't smash into your pelvis, your hip socket. And we're ready. Do this on both sides. Oh, we're in position for a side split. Breathe, chill, relax, see if you can let gravity do its job as you sink deeper into a stretch. And after another second or two, you can try to do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can break the friction holding your feet back from a deeper side split. Oh. And once you're as deep as you can get, I almost fell right there. I don't know if you saw, but that's what I was trying to prevent you from experiencing with the wall. From here, 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Keep on breathing. Try your best to relax. Do a little wiggle from side to side every once in a while. See if you can get yourself into a deeper stretch. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're done. Walk your hands forward. Crawl yourself out of that position. Bring your knees in. If your legs are struggling right now, that is very normal. So don't worry about it. While you kneel, while you squat, while you do whatever you gotta do to relax, let's breathe and chill. The side split is a little bit different from the other stretches that we do. We do 3 rounds of side splits. And that means in between each round, we're going to spend a little bit of time shaking out that tension that you're feeling in your hips, in your legs. We're going to relax them out by force. And hopefully, you'll be able to get into deeper second side split and a deeper third side split. We do 3 rounds, in case I didn't say that aloud yet. Let's go. I want you to come into standing, and I want you to imagine that you just stepped in a puddle of water, or maybe you got out of the beach, got out of the ocean, and you're trying to dry off your leg. I want you to flick your leg out in front of you, like you're trying to dry off. You want the water droplets to fly as far as possible. You're whipping that leg out. Your calves are relaxed. Your ankle is just flopping over to the side, whatever it wants to do when you whip the leg out. When you get comfortable with that motion, you realize how relaxed your calves are, how relaxed your ankles are. I want you to drop the knee. I want you to stop whipping the leg so hard. Just flop it around. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Your ankles should be going sort of all over the place, just doing crazy things. Great. Your calves, again, should be loose, relaxed, letting your foot go up and down as much as it wants. Just let it go. And hopefully that helps your leg to relax a little bit. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to lean our way onto one leg. We're going to shake, 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 flick the water off of our toes, and we're going to flop, 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 relax, shake, wiggle. If you're wondering why we're doing this, it's because when you're stretching, you get into this crazy tense position where your muscles are all contracted. Your brain is fighting you from getting into a deeper position. You spend a whole bunch of time contracting and stretching a muscle at the same time. Right now, what we're doing when the ankle is flopping all over the place, when the leg is just shaking out, is promoting relaxation, looseness. If your muscles were tense, you'd be like, you'd be like Robot King Kong. And what we want is not that. We want to be loose. We want to be floppy. We want to be chill, so that your muscles are in the best possible position for you to get into a side split. We're going to do a little bit to help move these hip muscles. I want you to stand once again on one leg, put the ball of your foot or maybe just the big toe down on the other leg, and I want you to try to rotate your leg so that your knee comes in and out and in and out and in and out. Notice the rest of the body is not moving. The hips are not moving. It's just where this leg is in the hip socket. And we want to use that movement to help relax some of these muscles in the hip. It's not going to be super useful. It's not going to feel super relieving or super intense. And that's not really the point. It's just to give a tiny little bit of movement so that if there's tension holding you back, it relaxes a little bit. When you take this leg, bringing in and out to the next level, and you pick up the speed, you pick up the intensity, you can also relax your quad muscles so hard that it looks like your whole leg turns into jelly. All right? Now your quads have relaxed, your calves, your toes, your ankles have relaxed, and our legs should be good to go to shake out another side split. Let's go. 8 to 12 inches in front of a wall, something that you are ready to fall into, and we will get into side split number 2. Let's go. Open up the legs pretty wide as comfortable. If you're feeling the pinching in the hips, bring your legs together just a little bit. Fold forward, point the belly button down into the ground. Put your hands down if you can. If you need to elevate your hands, go ahead and elevate it. Once you're here in that position, you might notice, oh, hey, my legs can go a little bit further and it doesn't hurt. If that's the case, go ahead and open up your stance a little wider. From here, we're doing the most important thing of the whole entire show. We're externally rotating. This is how we actually set up for the side split. So if there's anything that you do, make sure you're rotating your legs. All right? Everything else, it's important, but it's not that important. This is the most important thing, okay? Your feet are flat on the ground. I want you to rotate the whole leg backwards so it goes boom. Your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up, your quad muscles are pointing up, and I want you to do that on both sides. I'm going to lose balance immediately when I do that. Oh. And when you are in this position, you're ready to let gravity do a lot of work. Let gravity pull you down into your deepest side split. Make sure your toes are pointing up into the air as much as possible. And we're in our side split. Breathe, chill, relax for a second. Do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can push your feet out, break that friction holding you back. Breathe some more. And let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. If this whole time you've been locking your arms out straight and putting your weight into your arms, experiment with bending the elbows. When you bend the elbows, you might suddenly feel a whole bunch more weight is suddenly in your legs, and that stretch just got way more intense. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is enough. Walk your hands forward. Bring your legs in. Ooh. That is side split number 2. Bring your legs in. Breathe. Chill for a second. Relax. And when you can, come back into standing. Grab a quick sip of water. I'm going to scroll the chat. Manish on YouTube is back. Hey, how you doing? Josh Tree 21 says, wow, can't believe how good it feels after a whole set. Amazing. That's great to hear. Kat is thanking Travel with Roxy. Oh, and Travel with Roxy said, welcome back. Kat, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. It's been a while. It's good to see you. Kilmar says, I can't hear the ambulance. Anyone else? Oh, okay, well. That's crazy that the microphone is picking it up for sure. Somebody was complaining. All right, let's shake out the legs. Come back into that standing position. Flick the leg out like you're trying to sling water droplets into the eyes of your enemies. Whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh. And then stop exaggerating it so much. Drop the knee, be lazy, let the ankles flop, let the calves be loose. I say calves are loose and the ankles are going crazy because your calves control a lot of that range of motion in your ankles, right? So those are very closely related. If your ankles are flopping all over the place and doing crazy things, chances are your calves are pretty chill. From here, we are switching to the other leg. Whoop. Other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. And let's do a little bit for the thighs, for the hips. All of the weight is on one leg. Just the ball of the foot, maybe the big toe, is down. We only need it to help give you a little anchor point so that you can do the knee in and out thing. We're making all that movement come from the leg where it connects to your hip socket. The rest of the body is not moving at all. In fact, you might not even need to have your toe on the ground if you have enough control of those muscles. And when you take it to the next level, you pick up that intensity, just like how we're exaggerating that shake earlier. When you start wiggling and just almost vibrating, you can do the same thing for this movement. And your whole entire leg is just flopping and shaking and relaxing. All right, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 flop, 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 flop. That hopefully is enough to get us into side split number 3. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever it is you're ready to fall back into. Rest your butt on, and we're ready to go. Open up those legs. Make sure your hips are not feeling that pinching sensation. Bring your legs in a little bit. If you are, fold forward. Try your best to put your hands down on the ground. Open up a little bit wider. You don't have to go and reach your maximum depth right now, but open a little wider so that you can put your hands down a little bit more comfortably, okay? From here, we are externally rotating the legs, and that looks like this. We're taking it from this flat foot position to whoosh, having the toes pointed up, the knees pointed up, and the heels are down. The whole leg is rotating backwards. All right. From here, make sure you do the other side as well, and let gravity do its job. Slip into your deeper positions. When you stop slipping and you stop getting further, it's time to forcefully bring your legs out further. Do a little wiggle from side to side. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Break the friction holding your legs back, and we're basically in position. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Again, you can experiment with bending your elbows. Put more weight into your legs. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward. Crawl, bring your legs in. That is our final 30 seconds of the side splits. Breathe. Chill. Relax. Grunt, groan, make whatever sound effects you need. I can't hear you, so it's all good to me. Shake out your legs. Shake, 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 shake. Let's go. Flick those legs like you just stepped in a puddle and you're trying to fling the water off your toes. Drop the knee, relax the leg, pick up the tempo. Shake, 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 shake. Your ankles are relaxed. Your legs are just flopping all over the place, and that is what we want. If you can, I recommend you try a couple of other things. You know how we were doing this leg in and out thing? If you have figured out the muscles to be able to do this without your toes on the ground, you can sort of gently add that rotation in while you're shaking out the leg. Just do crazy things. Just crazy. Add some extra movement wherever you see fit, and see if that helps your legs relax. If it doesn't help you, cut it out. Don't do it anymore. But if it does, and you feel like, ooh, my leg is just turning into a giant floppy thing, great. Add it in. Cool? All right, other side. We're doing the flicky, with the water off of our toes into the eyes of our enemy. We're dropping the knees down. We're keeping the ankles and the calves relaxed. We're shaking, wiggling, flopping, relaxing that leg. And if you want, you can add in a little bit more of a wiggle, a little bit more of a shake. And if you do too much, it gets really exhausting too. So, there's a healthy balance between doing enough to shake out the tension and doing too much so that your legs are tired. We're going to continue. We're going to move those hips, bring all the weight into one leg, drop the ball of the foot or the big toe down. We're going to bring the knee in, knee out, 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 knee in, knee out. We're going to do the other side. If this starts looking like you're doing some dance moves, like you're doing some stanky leg, if you're gonna combine both legs at the same time, add it in, make it fun. We do a lot of kind of uncomfortable, struggly stuff on the ground for a long time. If your warm-ups, if your cool downs can be a little bit more fun, if they can assist you to have a little bit more enjoyment in the stretch, add it in. That is our third and final side split, third and final cool down. We're going to get into a couple of quick joint checks and we're going to wrap up. All right. For the joint checks, I want you to slowly do some hip circles. Just, yeah. Feel that low back release a little bit. Feel the stretch here in the sides of the hips, maybe even in the obliques, depending on how far to the side you're leaning. Maybe feel a little bit of a stretch in the hip flexors. I never really quite get there. I have to lean pretty far back to get the stretch in the hip flexor. But hey, we're all slightly different. And after the side splits, I usually feel the most pressure here, or on the left or the right side of the hip. And so I like to hang out and spend a little bit of time there. If you find another spot, or if you find the same spot, go ahead and spend some time relaxing, breathing, chilling, putting some pressure into that muscle, giving it a little bit of a stretch, and see if it feels a little bit better. Left and right. Left side still feels bad. Whew. Breathe, chill, and when you're ready, we're gonna move on. I want you to do a quick high knee. Just lift those knees up as high as you can. You'll know if it's causing issues pretty much immediately if your knee doesn't go up. So it should be fine. From here, we're going to pop into a squat and do some calf raises. What I want you to do is keep your feet relatively close together. If you have never tried this before, I want you to try to spread those toes as wide as you can. Imagine your toes going from this to that. If you can't get them to do that, that's fine. I just want you to try your best. Cool? When you got that going on, let's get into a squat. Feet together. Bring that butt back. Fold your chest down towards your knees as much as you can. All right? From here, I want you to try to push your knees forward past your toes. Whee! When you do this, because a lot of your upper body weight is also leaning forward, you might feel like you want to fall over to the front a little bit. Don't fall over to the front. Make your toes work really, really, really hard to keep you stable. Okay? This is why we talked about spreading the toes. Distribute that power onto the ground. When you are leaning forward, your toes are firing real hard, keeping you stable. Your feet should also be working pretty hard to help your toes. And when you bring your knees forward, you should be feeling a good stretch in the Achilles tendon, in the calves, making those work together. Your quads are probably getting a little tired from holding this position. So let's take this awesome balance that you're working on and add a little bit more difficulty with the calf raise. Bring your heels off the ground, lift them up way high. Calf raise. Try to balance your weight between the big toe and the pinky toe in the ball of your foot. Do a couple of reps like so, and you can come back into standing. Oh man, if your calves are feeling tired, if your feet are feeling tired, that's good. That's exactly what we're working for. We just made our toes work really well with our feet, with our ankles, our Achilles tendon, our calves, our quads, our knees, our hips, folding, maybe a little bit of low back as well while holding that squat forward position. And we basically challenged our balance, challenged the joints to work together, challenged the muscles to work together. So if you pulled that off, you're doing great. And with that, I'm ready to call it. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing side splits, practicing hip mobility with me today. we are all done. I hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed the live, and I hope to see you again. We do this live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and in a little bit, we'll be doing it at 9 a.m. on the weekends, which is, the next live. So you should come back for that if you wake up in time and you want a cool way to start the day with your workout. Kilmar says, should I do more repetitions for the first exercise movement, the hips, if I can? Yes, you should. The first couple of warm-up exercises are really good in general to just incorporate throughout your day, because they're not necessarily about the maximum stretch. It's just keeping blood flow, keeping your body loose, and maybe building up a little bit of strength with the hip cars, getting the joints working. Your joints are filled with, or your joints are cartilage, right? Cartilage does not have blood flow. So to get nutrients to cartilage, you have to move. You have to put pressure into the joints. You have to use the joints. And so you should try to use your joints as much as possible. For most people, you're not moving enough. So add in the movement wherever you can. If you're not like most people, and you're perhaps even training for a marathon, maybe you don't need it as much, but maybe you do. I don't know. Once you're training for marathons, you're at a whole new level of physical performance. So you let me know. Are you enjoying the hip stuff? Paul says, getting ready for the LA Marathon on Sunday, and these sessions have been so good. Thank you. Okay. I mean, this is Paul's version of letting me know that hit did good. So nice. Thanks, Paul. Good luck. Enjoy the training. Recover. Sleep well. Do all those good things. And you said LA Marathon, so maybe you are in California, so 6 o'clock, or 7 o'clock, you got time. And does art. I move a good bit as a cyclist, but it's a rigid movement. Yeah, I think bicyclists, well, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to be Olympic level, high level bicyclist, then maybe you don't want to have more hip mobility, right? You want to maximize your strength in that exact range of motion that bicycling requires. However, if you're a normal person trying to live normal life, I imagine once you get to a certain level of muscle development and that movement pattern, it would benefit you to work some stretches. So I'm glad you're here. You're trying to loosen up those hips, get some good movement in, and I'm happy that you're here. All right, let's see. Kat G says, see you tomorrow at 9. Nice. I'll see you soon, Kat. Thank you for the hearts. And scrolling. And Desire says, absolutely. Yeah. What else? See you tomorrow, everybody. I'm going to keep scrolling real quick. Ganowski says, phew. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Paul's third day in, I can already see the gains in my side splits. That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this. For the days where I make a short form video and somebody gives me some sass about something that makes absolutely no sense, I'm going to reflect back on these good screenshots. Josh says, wow, can't believe how good it feels after a whole session. Awesome. Okay. I think I've seen most of these other chats. So I'm going to do one last reminder of what the live is all about, and we'll wrap up. Travel Roxy says, oh my God, yes, the Ken emoji. Oh wait, there's a Ken emoji. Cute. Thank you. And Just Fine says, see you in the morning. Awesome. See you soon. Again, if y'all are joining in somehow at the last possible second, we just did 70-ish minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. About 70 minutes ago is when we start to practice the number one quality, consistency. A little bit of consistency goes a long way, and we try to make it a little bit more fun with good energy, good vibes, so that when we struggle on the floor going, oh, my hamstrings, we do it together. And hopefully that's enough to get us a little bit more mobile, move a little bit, and make a bunch of progress in our side splits. So if you like that, you need some more of that to keep you consistent, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. I make other content as well, including cool skills and tutorials. Usually that has been in short form and like the quick scrolly stuff on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, but I have just released a long form YouTube video. It's about 6 minutes long, explaining how to do the frog stand, which looks a little bit like this. It is a great beginner balance exercise, and it doesn't require that much strength despite what it looks like. It's mostly about balance. When you're in this position and your forearm is going basically straight up into the air, there's a little bit of strength that you need to keep wrists in check. But because the bone is carrying your whole entire body weight, you don't actually have to be super strong. Cool? If you can do a couple of push-ups, you can definitely do the frog stand. So go check out that video. It's on YouTube. The username is splits on the side, so the same exact username as on TikTok, if that is the platform you're currently on. And go check that out. Thanks. What else? I think that's it. Go check out the frog stand tutorial. Oh, crawling over. Splits on the side on YouTube. Yes, that is true. Che sends my emojis. Thank you. Che, you just got an award that says, I sent 300 comments to your live. Thanks for being super engaged and active and supportive of the chat. The chat is actually pretty huge for the live in general. Not because, probably because in some way it supports the algorithm for the live to grow and stuff. But it's very nice for me to see other people asking questions, to have content to engage with, to answer questions, so that I am not just repeating the same workout all the time, and there's a little bit of fun stuff that happens throughout. I do remember that somebody asked about the squat and how to drop into the Asian squat, so I'm going to do that for a second right now. Just Fine says, I'm 66 years, it's hard for me to do floor work, give other alternatives. Okay, that is something I can do, and I'll just continue into that in a little bit. Yup, it's Aja says or asks any other stretches to do for lower back. I think the safe stretches that you can always do for your lower back are going to be hanging from something. If you have a pull-up bar, if you have a door frame, if you have something to wrap your hands around, one of the really cool things that you can do is just hang and chill. You're going to feel most of the tension at first in the shoulder blades, in the shoulder, and it's going to be like, but once you relax all those things and you start feeling the relaxation in your back, feeling the weight of your legs pulling you down, is going to give you the most space in your back. So I think that is really helpful. If you don't have something to hang off of immediately, you can place your hands down on some chairs, something to support your weight. Because you're supporting your weight, you're going to have to use your shoulders a little bit more, so it'll be a little bit more difficult to relax your low back. But if you just hang in this type of position with your hands supporting you, and your feet are elevated, most of your body is still dropping and pulling down. You can get a little bit more space in the low back, and that should give you a little bit of relief. The low back is not designed to do very much bending or rotating. It can do a little bit, but most of the movement that happens in your back should be coming from the thoracic spine, the middle chunk of your spine. So if you are feeling a bunch of low back discomfort, it could be because your upper back or your hips are not doing their job. They're not moving as well as they should be, and that's forcing your low back to compensate, even though it's not great at doing those movements. And so indirectly stretching out the low back, you might want to keep on working on that thoracic movement in spine, maybe some bending to the left, right, forward, and back, so that your upper back is designed, or is better at doing those things, so there's less pressure in the low back to help out with the work. A version of this that we see in the live regularly, and I talk about regularly in the live, is when we contract the core and keep it nice and tight, so that when we bring the leg down and back, the movement is coming from the hip and not from the low back, like that. And that is one of those instances where your hips aren't doing as much of the work. They're not flexible enough, so your low back compensates. And that's why you might feel a little bit of low back discomfort when that happens. Do I have anything else? No, I think that's about it. Okay. We had a question about squats earlier, how to hang out and drop into a deeper squat. A lot of it is just spending time in the position, right? If you spend several hours in a chair, you're going to get really good at sitting in a chair. Your butt will go numb, but you'll still be sitting in the chair. It's similar for the squat. A lot of the time, there's actually a lot of pieces that are not quite ready for you to squat deep. One of the big ones is ankle mobility. If you can't bring your knees forward far enough so that you can stack your butt over your heels, essentially, it's going to be pretty hard for you to sink into that stretch. But also, something else that is I wouldn't call it a hack, a trick, is if you open up your legs wider instead of keeping them close together, that should give you a little bit more hip availability to get into a deeper squat. So sometimes it's form, sometimes, or most of the time, it's lacking in mobility, and you just need to give yourself time in that position. So if you're struggling to get into this position, you can real quick try to identify where you're losing balance and where you're struggling. If you are leaned really far forward and you're still falling backwards, that is a good sign to have something to hold in front of you, or to have like a water bottle in front of you to help counterbalance. All right? If your hips aren't mobile enough for you to lean forward enough, to put your own body weight forward enough, you can use some external support. Doesn't have to be crazy, especially these types of like water bottles. If you have the weight really far in front of you, that counterbalance is really effective. You can adjust so that you can use the smallest amount of weight, the smallest amount of water to help counterbalance, because if the bottle is heavy, it's going to just get you really tired real fast. So what do we talk about? Experiment with your leg positioning. If you're struggling, but you realize your knees are pretty close together, open up that stance. When you open up the stance and your toes point out and your knees point out, that should give you a little bit more space, a little bit more room to fold your body in between your legs, so that it's easier to help counterbalance. And depending on how long your different bones are, it's going to be easier or harder to get into the Asian squat. There is an anatomy component that you can't do anything about because those are your bones. I have short legs. If you got really long legs, the angles and the math works out completely differently. So what I demonstrate might not make any sense for your body, and I just won't know because I'm talking to a camera. From here, is there anything else to talk about? There are lots of other ways to slowly get into position. If you have some form of variability in the way that you're sitting, you can potentially find a low stool so that you end up sitting in a lower position or a deeper position and just resting on your butt. And it doesn't have to be, something that you can adjust every centimeter. You can just slowly find pretty big jumps, 5 centimeters, a couple inches, deeper and deeper and deeper into some sort of really low stool. And that will give you the opportunity to rest and do whatever you gotta do in a seated position, so you're not super stressed out, but also force your hips to work a little bit better. What else? If you're struggling with falling backwards, there's a couple of things you can do to compensate. It's not necessarily the best thing to do, but it's something that you can do. If you are able to practice that pancake stretch that we've been doing, where we're trying to fold our body in between our legs, and you can get your chest deep into the knees, right? Like the knees are here. Then that's going to help bring your body weight forward, so that even if you don't have quite enough ankle mobility, you can use the weight of your head to help counterbalance a little bit. And you can tweak and adjust slowly over time. Is there something else I want to talk about? We did pancake. We did holding on to stuff. I demonstrated holding on to a water bottle, but if you have a door frame and you hook your hand in like the door frame and you just chill, hang out like that, that might help. You can do the alternative. If you're gonna lean back and fall backwards anyway, I'm gonna try not to rip the curtains off the wall. You can spend some time seated so that your back is resting against the wall. Maybe it's not your butt sitting on a stool, but it's like the edge of your butt, your low back, resting against the wall, helping you hold like a deep squat position. When you get into the Asian squat, you want to get into a position where your hamstrings are resting on your calves. And that way your muscles are not firing super hard to keep you in a squatted position. If you're doing like a wall sit type of squat looking thing, your quad muscles are firing really hard and it's going to be crazy uncomfortable and you can't hold that for very long. So another thing you can try to work on is troubleshoot where exactly you're lacking flexibility. If you can sit back on your legs like this, and you can do this off like the edge of a bed, edge of a couch, if your ankles aren't able to handle the pressure in the front of the foot. If you're able to do this, then you know your hamstrings can totally rest on your calves, right? If you're able to do that and you're able to lean really far forward like this, like when we tuck our knees to the chest for that pre-Cossack switch stretch, then you know you're also able to get your chest pretty far forward, right? And if you're able to get pretty deep in that combination, the first thing you should probably do is just try to open up the stance and see if that helps. Next, overcompensate by bringing your chest as far forward as you can to help push into a deeper ankle stretch. Do a little bit of movement, try to loosen up the hips, and just do that and see if that helps. We start every day with the elephant walk, right? And a lot of us, or me especially, because what I demonstrate to you, I'm not holding back to like teach or anything. This is my like actual starting position when I do the elephant walk. My low back is tight, it's a little achy, so I hang out here for a second. The low back tension goes away, and I say that stuff aloud so that you know what I'm feeling. But it sounds like I'm saying it to everybody. When you get into this position, I'm pretty stuck here at just below 90 degrees. And then after we do a lot of the movement and stretching it out and feeling that tension loosen up, I get into that deeper position that we end in. So it could very well be that you just need to warm up and spend more time in the Asian squat position. And you'll find that with 30 seconds, a minute of squirming around, doing crazy things, shifting your weight, you'll get just a little bit deeper into that stretch, and maybe that's all you need. You might notice basically that happening when we do the Cossack switch, right? Like as you do the Cossack switch, maybe you're sinking deeper and deeper into the stretch, and oh, now my hips are tired. And yeah, get the reps in, warm up, then hang out for as long as you can in a as comfortable as possible way so that you actually want to hang out. If it's awful all the time and only awful, it's going to be really hard for you to want to stick in that position. So whether that's resting your butt against the wall so that it's not nearly as awful, pulling onto something so you don't have to extend your arms out and tire out your shoulder muscles, holding up something to help counterbalance, find a couple of cool ways to hang out in that position, and that should help. But don't just hang out. Add a little bit of movement. Do a little wiggle. Do a little shaking. Work the joints. Work the muscles. And I think that's all I got. Oh, I'm going to crawl over. Eli says, good job, Ken. Oh, thanks. What else we got? Oh, what else we got? What else we got? What else we got? I think that is pretty much all of it. Yup, it's Asia says, thanks. Amazing. Oh, somebody asked for some stuff that sorry. I'm going to just find the comment so I can read it. Alternatives. I accidentally invited somebody to co-host. That was an accident. I don't even know how I did that. How is that? The invitation was declined. Great. Awesome. Just fine as for alternatives for the floor work. Okay, we do a lot of floor work. In fact, we only do floor work. So let's talk about some alternatives. For the first stretch, the hamstring stretch, let me think. You don't need to be kneeling on the floor. And if you've been on some of the earlier lives where I do them outside or in the parks, I try not to get my pants super dirty first thing in the morning. So I do them standing. If you have the balance for it and you have the control for it, you don't feel like you're going to fall over, you are going to be well served doing a standing hamstring stretch. If you extend one leg back and focus on stretching one leg and folding the belly button down to that leg, you can do pretty much everything else the exact same as we did for the kneeling hamstring stretch. The main difference is it might be a little bit harder to put your hands down and get a little bit of support, right? We can still do the inhale, exhale, fold, inhale, exhale, fold, inhale, exhale, fold. But we get to a point where gravity is a little less effective. It's not really that much of a problem. You're pretty close to horizontal, and you just get a lot of blood pooling into your head. So I recommend usually sitting back a little bit so that you can let gravity pull your chest down and the blood isn't pooling into your head. But like I said, if you're struggling a little bit on the floor, that is a perfectly good variation to do. Let's see. Alternatively, you can always put your leg up, right? You don't have to fold forward. You can put your leg up onto something. It doesn't have to be super high. It can just be a couple inches off the ground so that you don't have your head dipping as low into the ground. It could be, just this. So that is our hamstring stretch without being on the floor. Let's see. What's our second stretch? The second stretch is the butterfly. The butterfly is going to be a little bit more difficult to do, not on the floor and not with the back support. So I'm going to think about that and I'll get back to you. What's the third stretch? Third stretch is the standing pancake or the seated pancake. If you are struggling with that stretch, start with the seated pancake. In the seated pancake, hold on, I'm going to grab a chair to demonstrate. Ooh. In the seated pancake, you can stay in a comfy chair. Just move that chair so that there's no way it can slide out from underneath you, because you're going to be adjusting, you're going to be wiggling, you're going to be squirming around. And from that seated position, you're going to have a little bit less pressure from gravity to open up the legs as wide as when you're doing the standing. And that's okay. That's fine. No big deal. The most important part is folding at the hips anyway. And you fold forward. You can do a combination of things. If you are struggling with balance, you might be able to do something like pull up the chair against the wall, put some weights behind the chair so it doesn't slide out from underneath you, and you can walk your hands down and hold the stretch. Can you even see the wall? There's a wall right here that I'm touching. So if I'm looking like I'm frozen in space, that's because I'm touching a wall. From this type of position, you can slowly open up your hips as you walk your hands down and fold, and give yourself a little bit of support as you go down. So you don't have to do the seated pancake or the standing pancake the exact way that we do it, where we're just contracting a whole bunch of muscles and folding and fighting against gravity. That's, I guess, technically two different ways to do the pancake stretch: seated, folding forward, and seated, pushing your hands against something so you can slow down the intensity and control the intensity as you slowly come down. Whew. What's our fourth stretch? Pigeon. If you don't want to do the pigeon on the floor, you can also do this from a chair, a couch, something soft. From a elevated position, it's actually going to be a lot easier to get into the stretch. So, well, I mean, that's true, and that's exactly what you want it. That makes sense. The pigeon can look like this, right? And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying that if you are struggling to put your leg back behind you, if you elevate your hips, this is going to give you a lot of room to stick your leg back behind you. And this is perfectly fine. So you can still fold forward. You might need to adjust the angles a little bit so you have enough space to stick your head down. You might need to do a stool instead of a chair. It just depends on how big the surface is. But you can do this against the couch. It does not have to be a small chair. If you smash your leg into a wide couch and fold forward, it's perfectly fine. It might be a little bit harder to control, might be a little bit harder to navigate, because depending on where you put your weight, the couch is going to squish in different ways. But that's something you can totally adjust for. Just keep your eye on how you're feeling the stretch, and remember, you need to feel the stretch here in the outside of the hip. Cool? What else we got? Technically, the figure 4 and the pigeon are optional. You can do whatever one that you'd like. If you don't like the pigeon, you can do the figure 4. And we do the figure 4 laying on our backs, but if you want to do it from a seated position, from a chair, it is totally possible to pull your leg up really, 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 really high and do it with your back against the chair. It's going to be tiring. It's not going to be easy. So I recommend the pigeon. But if you want really fine-tuned control, and you want to be able to go like, oh, what about my ankle? What about my knee? What about my hip? What if I lift my ankle up a little bit higher and I pull in it? Ow. Man, that's intense. If you want to have that fine-tunable control and be able to tweak the sensations in your leg, doing it from a seated position is totally, totally doable. It's just going to be tiring because your leg is going to be fighting against you. You're going to be fighting against your leg. What else we got? We got side splits. Side splits. This one might be a little bit hard to adjust very much. I'm going to put the chair here at an angle, but we were doing something like this, opening up the legs, right? And we are trying to fold forward a little bit. And if you cannot get your hands down, I said you could use a chair. So this is how I would use the chair to get into that same position. From here, I'm trying to scoot into the camera a little bit more so you can see what my feet are doing. From here, we're maintaining very close to that 90-degree fold, right? You can fold a little bit further and your hands would be on the ground, but we're resting on the chair or the couch or the bed. Those are all fine. From here, we want to externally rotate the legs, right? I recommend you pull your hips a little closer to the chair so that your center of gravity is closer to the chair so that you can make it easier on yourself to externally rotate the legs. I don't know if you can see my feet. No, you definitely cannot. Ugh, I'm way off camera. Ugh. But once your belly button is basically at the edge of the chair, you should be able to chill into that deeper stretch and relax and hang out. And boom, we're in a side split looking thing. If you go too deep and the chair is too high, it's going to be a little bit more troublesome trying to get into the stretch. So your options are basically get a lower chair, or you can do it between a wall and a chair. If you have a wall behind you, to do the same thing I was talking about, if you lose balance, you fall backwards, you will land into the wall, and you have your chair. Oh, oops. You have your chair behind you. Sorry, chair in front for support, wall behind you for catching you if you're gonna fall. Then you got a pretty cool way of slowing down, making the whole thing a little bit safer, a little bit more controlled. Make sure this chair is pretty heavy because you can get into a situation if you lean too far back, you're gonna shift the chair up. So maybe the chair shouldn't be what I recommend. Maybe it has to be like a pretty significant coffee table, something a little bit more dense, because you're struggling particularly with the alternative variations. Is there anything else? Side splits? For the hip cars, if you're struggling with balance, so the first opening warm-up exercise that we do for the hip cars, there's a version where you start with your body on the ground. So I don't know if this is going to actually help you, but the way that we currently do hip cars requires a lot of balance, right? And it requires a lot of skill. So if you want to do a version that is a little bit more calm, requires a little bit less balance, so you can focus on the hip cars without feeling like you might fall over, then you can do hip cars like this. You're going to bring the high knee directly up in front of you. You're going to open up that hip directly to the side, rotate the legs, bring it around and lift back and behind. Try to keep the core tight so that the movement is coming from the hip and not from the low back. And all of the same cues that we were using for the hip cars applies to the kneeling and hands down version. So if your knees are uncomfortable, you might need some padding for the knees. But other than that, the hip cars are totally doable with that extra support, with that extra stability. What else do we have? Elephant walks. I don't think, let me know if you need an adjustment for the elephant walks. I don't think you will, but if you need to, you can hold on to something while you're doing that just to feel a little bit more stable, to feel a little bit more secure. And what is our third and final? Cossack switches. Cossack switches. Okay, I forgot about that. Same thing. If you need a little bit of support, you can definitely put your hands onto a stool, onto something a little bit more stable to help shift your weight back and forth. I have a windowsill right here. All right. If you want to do Cossack switches, you can totally hold on to the windowsill and bring yourself from side to side. Doesn't have to be a chair, doesn't have to be a stool, so you can get creative with how you want to do this. But if you need a little bit of support, that could be it. I actually would not recommend a light chair again. You want something stable, you want something sturdy, so that if you do need to lean into it for balance, if you do need to pull against it so that you can not fall backwards, it's a little bit more stable. What's something that immediately fits that? Oh, door frame. If you open the door like this, right? Wow, now I'm doing the gesture and I feel like I don't know how to open the door. Turn the doorknob, open the door, right? The frame is here. If you rotate your body so that you're straddling the door frame, you can hold on to that door frame and you can work on doing the Cossack switches like that. Obviously, your hands would be stuck somewhere in the center instead of moving with the body. But that will give you, so that when you're on the left side, your right arm can pull yourself in. When you're on the right side, your left arm can pull yourself in, and holding on to it will keep you from going backwards and forwards. I think that's a bunch of alternative adjustments to most of the moves in our live. I hope that helps. I have not looked at the comments in a while. I've just been rambling, so hopefully it's been useful. Let's see. I'm scrolling back down to the bottom, and I don't see anything else. So hopefully that was useful. Hopefully we got some benefit out of it. All right, let's see. Kilmar says, on the stretches, I know stretches sometimes go a little longer. How much longer should I hold them? Oh, okay. There's some science out there that suggests that 30-second holds is enough for the stretch to be effective, and that if you add up those 30 seconds into about 5 minutes a week, that will show progress. In general, we do a bit more than that because we're stretching every single day. But it's not just that one stretch where we're targeting our hamstrings, right? So in the hamstring stretch, in the Cossack switches, in the standing pancake or the seated pancake, we're stretching out the hamstrings. So if we did only 30 seconds, that'd be 1.5 minutes in just one day. And if you pile that on over 7 days, that's much closer to 1.5 times 7 is like 10.5 minutes worth of stretching that particular muscle. So if you want to make faster progress, if you feel like you want to hang out in a position for more time and see if that helps you get into a deeper stretch faster in the future, please put in the extra time and do the cool stuff. Feel good. If you find that you're getting more sore, you're getting more uncomfortable, you're feeling a little bit more stiff in your joints after you spend a whole bunch more time in those positions, then you should probably dial it back. Because, I know that you've been on the live pretty much every day for several weeks now. If you are doing too much, your body's not able to recover from it. If you're not eating well, if you're not sleeping well, something else in your life is just out of whack for a couple of days, it could very well mean that your hips, your muscles aren't ready for more practice. So at some point, you gotta decide if you are going to go at full intensity, if you're going to add in more time and hang out in the stretch, or if you want to dial back the intensity. Usually on the lives, I am trying to get us into a position where 30 more seconds is 30 very valuable seconds, right? Like for the hamstring stretch, we spend a lot of time breathing, inhaling, chit chatting, trying to relax the muscles, and then getting a little bit more, and then getting a little bit more, and then getting a little bit more until the intensity of that stretch is just crazy, and we got to start the 30 seconds because we got to move on. If you want, you can do the same thing. I spend a lot of time explaining stuff, right, and going talking about stretches. You can spend that entire time where I'm talking about random stuff, getting into that stretch, focusing on the stretch, and you will have way more than an extra 30 seconds. You'll probably have an extra minute on every single stretch that we do. That is plenty of time. Now that, Kimar, you've been here for a lot of lives and you know the order and you know most of the moves and you've heard me explain all the little tips and tricks and whatever over and over and over again, by the time I'm finished with the explanation, you'll have already started, done a whole bunch of stuff, and if some of the tips remind you of something that you should do, great, awesome. You're going to get more value out of that stretch. So I don't think you necessarily need to do more stretches outside of the time that you already spend on the live, because you already know the general order of things. If you spend a little bit more time getting right into that stretch, breathing, relaxing, trying to get into the deepest version of that stretch while I'm doing the explanations, that will be plenty to spend way more time in each of the stretches. So I hope that sentence made sense. I started rambling a little bit because I've not answered this type of question before. In short, I talk enough explaining things that if you know the workout, you can spend more time in each of the stretches. You don't have to add on additional time outside of our lives if you don't want to. Cool. I think that is all of the comments. I'm going to do another quick scroll for a second, see if there's anything else. Oh, funny. Travel Director says, as long as you don't start another battle like that one time. Yep, I have accidentally, while scrolling too fast, left my finger on an invite button and invited people to come battle us in our live. And I am not an avid TikTok user outside of this live. So I was like, what is happening? Who are these people? What are they saying? I'm trying to finish my show. Anyways. Who's still on here? Che, thank you for the hearts and the roses and the cool stuff that you can send. I appreciate it. Alec, thank you for the likes. Kilmar, thank you for the thank you. And I think that's it. We're wrapping up. Thank you for hanging out. Oh, man, we've run super long. An hour and 49 minutes today. Hope it was useful. I hope it was valuable. We are done closing out